Hello and welcome back to the Mobius Archives. This is your host, Mobius Rex, and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. You might notice this little thing down here, the KSC surface scanner. Let's just fly that. This is just a little rover I set up on the Kerbal Space Center. It has a surface scanning module which will allow some probes in orbit to figure out what's going on the planet. I don't have any of those probes up just yet, but I will be trying to get one up today. However, last time we were here, we were trying to rescue some people. We were trying to rescue some Kerbonauts, and that's a very red night. Do we have power? We do. Alright, fold up your solar panels. I should really put those on some type of key system. And, alright, save it here. And just take off. We'll aim towards the 90 and hope that our RCS and our nuclear fuel source will be enough to bring us back to the Kerbal Space Center. Alright, throttle up. All the way up. Wow, that's just not doing it. I thought this was more powerful the last time we were here. Alright, I think it's about time we start turning over, and probably turning over drastically. I think we're reaching 50,000 meters, but I think we're going to have to send up yet another rescue ship. I'll do that on off camera. Yeah, 50,000 meters. I think that gets us out of the atmosphere. But, to be a little bit careful. And there you have it. Our original attempt does not work. To get us off of Duna, we'll have to send up a different rescue craft. One that actually is over-engineered for the purposes. But we'll design that later. Today I wanted to try out a few experiments. We have this ship here, or this part of a ship here. Let's, it's pretty much just all the science that we could smack into a couple components. This is, just an orbiting satellite, and this part here is a lander. I called it Probe Gilly. We do need to put this on a craft, but I think it should help out. Actually, we don't... I'll send this to Minmus, just as an experiment, but we have to figure out how to get it out of the atmosphere first. So we're just going to do one of our regular poodles, and just do a poodle with a 2 high fuel can, and then we'll have a 3 high fuel can, 1, 3, and use our skipper. And then we'll go ahead and attach a full-size tank and attach a mainsail to that. If we're lucky, that's all we need to get out of the atmosphere. And of course, a couple stability enhancers, just to make sure we can get this off the ground. Alright, save that, launch that. This is just a test flight. We're going to see if we could get this to orbit, not to Minmus. Alright, even though it says Probe Gilly, I should probably say Probe Minmus. Okay, let's revert that. There you go, Probe Minmus. And throttling everything up, and making sure our engine is actually on when we release. Go! SES on, 2, don't forget that bit. And we'll see how well this does. I forgot to put fins for the atmosphere. We'll see. Usually I don't have very good control if I don't put fins on while we're in atmosphere. But I guess we'll find out whether that was detrimental to the success of this mission or not. Yeah, we're getting spaghetti string effect. And we're going to lose our lower stage already. I don't know. I don't know whether this will work. Tell you the truth, definitely not. Whoop. Whoop. That's the wrong way. Alright. Give up on that. Go back to vehicle assembly. Definitely need the fins, but not on the lowest layer. Alright, added some struts, added in these little winglets. We'll see how well that does. SAS on, thrust up. I still forgot to change that bit, but go! And goodbye, mainsail. Good to know you. Yeah, we're not having the flip over problem that we were just having. Nope, yep, we are. Yep, we are. Huh. Looks like we gotta point upwards more than downwards. We just lost a lot. Get up into the higher reaches of the atmosphere before we start tilting over towards the 45. Apparently. There we go. Oh, hold it together. I think we're going to have to use this stage to get us into orbit. We're not even out of atmosphere yet. I think I screwed up the atmospheric exit. There we go, closer. To getting a stable orbit. 71,000 meters at least. And we could actually, well, let's get into the get out of the atmosphere before we ditch that fairing. There we go. Out of atmosphere. Did you? Oh, no, no, no. Fairing. Fairing! There we go. And you... Can you be deployed without breaking apart? Looks good. Now scanning the surface. Perform orbital survey. I'll retract that scanner then. Now we know 150 kilometers. What we're aiming for. Orbit first, then 150 kilometers. There we go. Orbit, and aim for 150. There we go. Just wait for this to come around. And now let's get this to a stable orbit around 150. 4 by 157. Looks good to me. And you... Turn lights on. Lights! There we go, lights! Now you, this bit here, that you guys can barely see, deploy that scanner. And perform orbital polar. Oh. I did not know that. Polar orbit. Alright. We'll have to redo that. But we know... Oh, retract that scanner. No, we can't make it there. Let's try our original target, Minmus. Alright, we have a 2-minute burn. I don't know whether we'll have actually enough fuel for a 2-minute burn. But we'll try it. We'll start at a minute out. Just keep on both sides of the maneuver. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Almost there. Good. That works for me. Assuming we hit Minmus and not the moon. Looks like we have. We'll just see how far off we are when we get there, assuming we don't run out of charge. Let's extend those solar panels again. We can. Extend all the panels. There we go. Right. Can we do? We need to get into a polar orbit. Well, first we'll get into an orbit. Then we'll just fiddle with this. That doesn't do it. Fiddle with this until we see something that makes it more polar. Alright, let's get to that first, before we do anything else. It's only a 13-second burn. We should be able to do that with the amount of fuel that we have left here. And more. Alright, starting the burn now. See how well this does. Should bring us into orbit and into a polar orbit. Maybe even into the right orbit. Is periapsis good enough? And what do you say when I activate this thing now? Deploying the scanner. And perform orbital survey. Stable polar orbit between 25 kilometers and 300 kilometers, of course. Definitely get a little bit closer. I guess it really depends on the astronomical body you're around. There we go, our periapsis just under 300,000 meters. And just gently bring us into this polar orbit that we've been requested to do. Well, not even requested, I just decided to do it. There we go. Now let's see what it says. Are we stable enough? Can I click this? Perform orbital stable. 25 kilometers and 300 kilometers. Is it because we're not quite polar? Maybe that's the problem. And since it's a negligible burn, we could probably start this up relatively any time. And there. Now let's see if it lets us do it. There we go. Forwarding orbital survey. Received orbital survey for Minmus 25 science add. Nice. Now what we will do, we will actually split this in two. Decouple that node. You, the lander, heading for Minmus. Or... there we go. Back away. Oh, they're still both controlled together. Something really weird's going on. Are these two still the same ship? Just gonna move you to point at the planet. Or the moon. And we'll just call it a satellite. And then switch over to you and see if your name changed as well. No. Good. So I think they should be detached. Well, apparently I'm moving that thing. Just point you back here. And the planet, because that's the way I want you to point. And I just want to disable these RCS so it won't even try to move. And for the hex, turn the torque off. There we go. Shouldn't have any more problems with that, not that I'd know. Alright, you, on the other hand, get prepared to land. Alright, I'll aim for one of the poles, probably whichever one we get to first, really. It'll bring us down to 13,000 meters. In ahead. Do the same on the other side. No atmosphere, so we don't have to worry about that slowing us down any. So I guess we know that there's ore here in places. Lots of ore down on this side here. Maybe we'll try to land near an ore location. Not that it matters, I don't think. Not to us, at least. But there's ore at a fraction of 2.8%. No ocean, no atmosphere. I'll actually try to land down some of this ore area here. Though the polar maneuvers are confusing the heck out of me. We might not hit density. The planet should still be turning. Or the moon should still be turning. So... If we give it another orbit, we might find a better landing spot. Give it a few orbits even. Just start to slow ourselves down and try to get a good landing right about there. Go ahead and retract those panels, and I'm going to detach this section here. You did your job. And the stack separator got jammed on our... on our landing gear. There we go. Time warp. Detaches everything. These engines activate, please. Thank you. And just wait till we're over an area. And... point retrograde. And start stopping. Now this is Minmus, so there shouldn't need too much thrust to stop. 10,000 meters coming in for land. And we just heard... well, I guess the fuel tank blew up. Alright, we are seeing the surface. And now we're going the other way. Not right. I'm glad I put lights on this thing. Seems to work so well. And I'm just using RCS to slow us down. There we go. Just slowing ourselves down. Just trying to stop gently on the surface. Gently. Gently. And... good work. Whew! Took a while. Extend those panels. Get some power generation going. And can we run atmosphere? There's no atmosphere to run. We can observe a mystery goo. We can do all this sort of science that we do. Observe materials. Now, if we really wanted to, run that analysis. Resource analysis performed from Minmus Hive. Temperature, seismic data. So we're getting a lot of data here. That's good. And we can transmit whatever we have. Transmit that data. Transmit all. Not going to worry about it right now. We could come back here if we really wanted to. Whoa. Whoa. What? Think we ran out of power there. And knocked ourselves over. Huh. That was funny. Let this thing power up. And transmit the rest of that data. Nice. We have a little bit more information about the Highlands here. And we were able to use this satellite. Has gone to the dark side? Yeah. Just to do a surface scan. Nice. Alright, well, this has been Mobius Rex for the Mobius Archives. If you enjoyed the episode, leave us a like, leave your comments, suggestions, and tell your friends about us. Trying to get the word out there. We've crossed the 500 subscriber threshold, and thank you very much for watching. But get the word out there, and hopefully soon we'll have more subscribers and videos. Have a good day. Wonderful night. Bye-bye.